everyone. Mr. Devil here, Kenny Danico, 3-time Stanley Cup champion of the New Jersey Devils. And you're listening to the Uncle Pucker's New Jersey Devils podcast. Let's go, Devils!
That's right, Mr. Danico. You are listening to the Uncle Pucker New Jersey Devil podcast. I am Chris along. Rude motorcycles driving by. I'm Chris with Tony Zamboni and Mr. Tim Wood. Bobby is not with us today. So we've gone from like 3 shows a week to like 2 shows a week down to kind of 1 show a week. And now, granted, it doesn't have all to do with the fact that the Devils have sucked for a very long time, and work is involved and in life in general gets in the way. But for the most part, I would say it's probably just because how often can you just come on and bitch about a hockey team? But we have some bitching to do. I have a lot of stuff I'm really curious to get your guys' input on. But overall, I want to start with just like your feelings on this last stretch of games, right? We can beat the teams that we're kind of equal with. We can beat the lesser teams now, which was a problem for most of the year. But the battleships, right? The fucking Carolinas, like, we cannot beat this team. And just your thoughts overall. Tony, I'll start with you. I know you haven't been watching a whole ton of Devils hockey lately, but just
seen the last 3 games though.
All right, so the last 3
games in there. I mean, it's
you're
good
good
to see
and you're
them win.
bad.
You never want to see them lose, right? It's your team. You don't want to. I don't believe in the tank and all that kind of stuff. I mean, but I don't care that they're winning in a way, because I don't believe. What I'm afraid of is I'm afraid that like it's gonna change some decisions that should be made hardcore at the end of the season. That's what I worry about, because this happens all the time. We see it in any sport. Your team, when there's nothing, when it's pretty much done, it seems like, hey, it's always the same sentence. Where have these guys been all year? And it's it's always like that with any team you watch that does this kind of stuff. And like I said, love the Devils. I'm glad they win. I never want to see them lose. But I'm just afraid that like I said, some people should be a lot of stuff done, I think, in the offseason. I think a lot of people agree with that. I mean, a lot of Devil fans agree with that. There's got to be a lot of changes, I think. And the more they win, I'm afraid that they're going to be more content, because I don't even know how many changes are actually going to be made. So,
yeah, I absolutely agree with that statement. I'm loving these games that they're scoring goals, and Jack is looking like the best player on the ice, and getting secondary scoring, and Connor Brown's coming to life, and Jesper Bratt finally figuring it out. It's been awesome. But at the same time, yeah, there is that fear, right? Is this going to just be another crutch where Tom Ftzgeralds can tell ownership, well, look, my team that I assembled when we were healthy in garbage time, when nothing mattered, we kicked ass. And I hope that is not a shield that ownership is going to let deflected by. I just hope that they stay on, and this guy's got to go. I don't give a shit if they win the next. How many games are left? 11, 12?
I think it's
10?
like 9. I think they're 9 now.
Okay, so maybe 9. Like, I don't care if they go 9-0. Like, the changes have to be made. But Tim, thoughts?
Is Tim frozen?
Tim, are you
want
frozen?
A gummy, Tim, or you want a gummy, or you frozen?
I think I don't know
Tim,
what happened.
Lift up a hand if you're still with us.
Yes, Daddy, squeeze my hand if you can hear me. And he's gone. But
you need to get that fucking Bill Cosby, that pencil thing from like Fat Albert, or like Reading Rainbow, or the hell. Oh, yeah, picture pages where you can start drawing on the
picture pages. Picture pages, lots of fun with picture pages, lots of fun with crayons and a pencil. And I can keep going. Tim,
fuck did I just?
What happened, buddy? What happened to you?
I'm using my old computer, and I
thought you had a stroke there, bud.
Yeah, we were worried about you.
Or went to have one or the other.
So where'd you leave us?
We're talking about, does it matter right now? I agree with Tony that I am very worried that Tom Ftzgeralds is going to look at this stretch and say, like, this is proof of concept that I built a good team. and it's working as the way I intended it to be assembled. Like that's I think the biggest fear, obviously. And you look at the way Jack has emerged. He's on like 150 point pace, I think 148 ish since the Olympics. Brat's like kind of right under that, like 120 point pace. Nico's above a point per game. Dougie's got 11 and 14. Luke's got 8 and 14. Brown, like you're talking about before, is over a point per game. Timo is not. And it's just like he's going to look at this, and I think this Fitz postseason press conference. I see a few things on his bingo card. So let's build Fitz's postseason press conference bingo card. All right. Look at the last 25 games we played. Look at our record then. That means this worked. We had as many wins as the Penguins and probably Columbus, who I think will be second and third. Loser points. And look at the Pacific Division and the Western Conference, we'd be in the playoffs. Those are the four kind of main things I think that are going to be on Fitz's bingo card. I still am a big advocate for getting rid of this fucking guy. I think he's just driven this team into the ground. But I'm now very much worried, and a lot of these speculation going around the interwebs now is that, and I feel like the Devils do this a lot, where they seed stuff into the press to kind of to get a vibe on things and just to prepare the fan base for this is what's happening. There's a lot of talk about bringing in either a president of hockey operations or a new GM, but like not sure which one they would actually do. My preference is to leave Fitz as the president of hockey operations and bring in an actual GM, because the POHO roles are usually more ceremonial and like, given to sort of former players, that can manage up a little bit. And Fitz is already doing that. I'd rather bring in a GM that has, a good track record, an upcoming GM. There's like Jason Spezza's out there who's got a great reputation. We talked about Sonny Meta. There are a few others stayed far away from, Tree Living, who got canned, but in Toronto. But that's my other concern, is that the GM carousel has started. And if the longer this goes on with other GMs that might get fired, the more we're going to be holding the bag with less options. So if they don't do anything within the next 9 games and Fitz gets to a postseason press conference, I think we're stuck with him.
Unfortunately, I think you're right. I also think that would be the biggest mistake that this team could ever make as a franchise. You are going to take whatever little hope you have of a Stanley Cup run or runs in the future and just flush them down the toilet. The man has to go. That cannot be kept on as a GM. And I agree with you. I'm just, arguing the other side. He has to go. I don't care if director of hockey operations, general manager, doesn't matter. Not gonna work here anymore. I want this fucking guy out, and I want Keefe gone. And again, Keefe, I've said this before, is not that I don't like him. It's just the stank is too much. I don't care how great they're playing this last 25 games in garbage time. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Tom Ftzgeralds should have been shit canned the day after the Islanders fucking threw 9 past us in that 9-0 game. He should have been fired the next day. Like, you look at Vegas, and I do want to talk about them. Right?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about this too, because the motherfuckers stole my idea.
Well, yeah, they did steal your idea. You said it on this show first that and your idea was back, I think it was right around the Olympics. We were saying you should bring in a guy like John Tortorella.
Hey, that was me.
No. You wanted Tim.
Of course, Tony's been on the Tortorella train.
I'm a Torts fan.
He has a poster of him on his wall.
Right.
Underneath my desk, actually.
Yeah, it's on his sock. Just like Tim mentioned Tortorella or somebody like Tortorella that can you can use through the remainder of the season and the postseason to basically have him report back to management, like, who are the real players? Who are the guys that you can build around? Who are the guys that have to go? Because he's very good at that. And we said it. He burns out, he burns his candle out quick, and next thing you know, you're done with him. But to have the balls with 8 games left in the season to fire your head coach like Vegas did, going full Lamorello on us, The Devils used to be that team, right? And like you watch, like Tree Living's gone. He should have been fired a couple of years ago, but he's gone now. Getting rid of Bruce Cassidy. This is shit that Devils should have done at least with the general manager back in the spring, like in the wintertime. But he is going to stick around and he's going to tweak around the edges, not do a whole lot. And we're going to be in this exact same spot. Now, next year, if the team stays healthy, sure, Jack and Brat and Nico, they can drag this team to the playoffs. Sure. But you ain't winning anything.
I think, to bounce off of that Tort thing too, Chris, is I know that he has like a track record. We all know he kind of burns out eventually, but I'll tell you what, I've listened to a lot of like the players who have played under him, the older players, and after like departing from him for years, they said, I loved playing under him. So I think the deal is now we have different kind of players, right? The younger players are completely different than the old school players, but a lot of the old school players love to play for Torts. And I think that's what no matter if it's him or whatever, we need to fire. And I with Keefe, I don't feel that at all. I feel like it's very calm and very polite almost, like I want to see like a fucking bench flying around or some fucking water bottles getting tossed around or like just some, I want to see stuff that makes we used to see Tort on the Clips fucking smashing up a locker room. You need that though. It brings a little fire to the team than just going back and, talking about culture.
I think a guy like Jack Hughes, I think a guy with like Torts' personality could mesh pretty well with Jack.
And they know each other already.
Torts said it at the Olympics.
Yeah.
What'd he say?
Like Torts is one of the U.S. Olympic.
Yeah,
coaches.
I know.
He just said Jack's a fucking gamer, basically.
And they have that bond now,
And look, the one thing, that again, and this is me being the rosiest of rose-colored glasses. Like, if no changes happen, I'm going to go back into next season optimistic again because I'm a fucking loser. But the change in Jack Hughes since coming back from the Olympics is something that I think could really affect the trajectory of this team longer term now, because there were questions about his maturity and can he last and stuff like that. And I even just like some of his play style while putting up all these points, like he's driving the net, he's driving through defenders, he's getting fucking dirty. Like he's just everything about his game has just elevated. And he speaks to the press a little differently. Like I think that maturing of Jack is going to go a long way for this group of guys from a leadership perspective.
Well, dude, when he's healthy, anybody wants him. If he's healthy, anybody would want them on their team.
Top 10, maybe even top 5 player in the league. When he's fully on, probably top 5.
It's a good cockiness too, remember.
Yeah, yes, it is.
Let's do a quick unofficial, little exercise here. Connor McDavid, I think we can agree, right? In some form is 1 or 2, right?
Yeah.
Best in the NHL.
McDavid, McKinnon.
Right. So then McKinnon and McDavid kind of interchangeable. So no one's disagreeing, right? That they'd rather have one of those two guys as opposed to Jack, right? If you had the opportunity, I'd take either one over Jack. How about Kiprusoff? I take Jack over Kiprusoff.
I take Jack, and I take Jack too. And it's a lot of like, because we've watched him since the beginning. He's like our guy. I think that's a lot. That to me is like a kind of moves the needle easily, in a way.
Yeah, it's also position and contract and age and all that shit taken into effect. I'd absolutely take Jack.
What about
when he bangs on? Think about it. When he scores that goal, what does he do? He points to the jersey on the emblem. And you know what? I love it, man.
I love his. Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt the exercise, but like his recent celebrations have been fucking electric.
Yeah,
like just the joy. Like, and that's one of the things that I okay, hang on. I will get to that. Let's finish.
No, go ahead.
So, okay. So one of the things talking about culture on a team, like you watch the Washington Capitals and the way Ovechkin reacts, like when his teammates score and when other teams score, and they have these tunnel like videos of the Washington Capitals. Not to say that they just have a good culture, Buffalo, like watch them when they score. Like everybody's so happy and so excited. When like Brat and Nico score, it's like someone shot their fucking dog. And it's like I want to see these guys be happy. I understand the context that, like, right now there's not that a lot to celebrate, but if you're out there having fun and scoring fucking goals, have some fun. Like like look at Jack. Like when he scored, what rink was he in? Was that Nashville? When there were like 4 or 5 Devils fans that he was like signaling to, like that was cool as hell. Like I want to see more of that. Like fucking have fun, celebrate, man. So anyway, go ahead.
No, I mean they definitely have seemed much. I mean, I guess there's no pressure right now, so you're just going to go out and play and have fun. And there's still shit to play for. I mean, there's still bragging rights tonight. You're going, I think that game's at the Garden tonight. Hey, Jay Snow, what's happening, buddy?
Sit wherever you want. There's a lot of empty seats tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I just go and sweep the Rangers. That'd be awesome. At least we could put that little feather in our cap.
Win 6-3 again. That would be 3 6-3 wins against the Rangers.
Oh,
what is Jack get another hat trick?
Jack can get another hat trick. I think Shesterkin's back though, so he'll be playing tonight.
Might actually play that little parlay. Exact score 6-3, Jack hat trick. The odds on that will probably fucking finance a third house.
I just before we get back to the exercise, who other than Jack has impressed you the most since the Olympics?
Luke, probably.
That's
Dougie.
my guy.
Nico has been extremely solid. I really liked Connor Brown on that line with Jack and Bratt. And we've talked a lot about that particular role, like what's the best type of player to put on that role. And honestly, Connor Brown is a faster, younger, more skilled version of Andre Palat and a right-handed shot. And those kind of like checks all the boxes for me. Like, I think that may be a fucking line for the rest of Connor Brown's term here. Like, I think they stumbled onto something.
All right, so Jay Snow saying don't sell me on Brown in a top six next year.
I know. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid now. I don't think it's probably the right choice. But if you look at other legitimate top 6 players, and if you look at the 5th or 6th player and all those guys, you'd be surprised at how low their point totals are. Like they're 40, 50 point guys tops that are like the 5th and 6th guys in the top 6. The problem is ours are 20 and 30.
Jake Allen, man, the other night again. I mean, I gotta admit, like for the contract, for him staying, I mean, guy's solid, man. When I watch him play, sometimes I wonder to myself, which is probably a crazy thought. I'm like, he would have played more. How much more? How many more games would they have maybe won? But you can't think like that. But I gotta admit, there's a few times where I've thought like that when I watch him kind of stand on his head a lot, man.
Jake Allen's a great backup, and he plays that role perfectly for this team. Unfortunately, he's better than our starter. And that just, unfortunately, you're stuck with Markstrom. I said it. This,
maybe Markstrom will bounce back, but
well, I mean, maybe Markstrom will have a better year next year. He seems to be one of those players that is an up year and a down year. So if we can constitute this as a down year, then maybe we have something to look positive to next year. Me personally, I just see a guy who's another year older, another year of losing, a little bit of that step. I think that this team is not going to go far with Jacob Markstrom. I would much rather, if we had a competent general manager and we are not making the playoffs this year, to like look at these 16 teams that are going in, you're going to have a handful, 3, 4 maybe, that lose because of poor goaltending. So you find that good team like the Oilers or somebody in that realm that is a good team that makes the playoffs. Maybe they don't get out of a first round, second round, maybe because they're goaltending, but they feel like they have everything else. Maybe you can move Markstrom to one of those teams in the off year, in the off season. I don't like him. I don't want him on the team. I just think it's not a good fit.
He's not going anywhere.
No, I don't think anybody's going anywhere. I really don't.
Yeah,
I think that we are
surprised how many moves there are.
And if this team, I think the two moves that are going to happen are what we kind of talked about earlier that we said we definitely didn't want to happen. One was what we said earlier, that Tom Ftzgeralds will be relieved of one of his titles, whether it's GM or president of hockey ops. I agree with you. I'd rather have a new GM in and let Tom, if he's got to stay as the hockey ops guy. The problem is, though, he does have fucking roster control and he does have the final say as the director of hockey operations. So, are you going to let the GM do what the GM thinks needs to be done? That's the first thing I think will happen. this year. And I think Sheldon Keefe's going to be the scapegoat. And we talked about this. I think he's going to get the axe because you have to make some changes, but you don't have the balls to just throw out fucking everybody in management and bring new leadership in. And plus there's guys like, if you believe that, Jack and Luke and guys like Nico, they really like Ftzgerald. They have a strong respect and a strong relationship with them. I don't know if that's gonna play a part in it, but it very well could. So he will be.
Well, do you know what's going to play a part in it is Jim Hughes is really tight with Fitz.
Yeah. So maybe bring Jim Hughes in as GM.
That would be a fucking idea.
Would you be shocked if Keefe's back though?
No, I would be more shocked if Keefe was back than Fitz being back. Yeah.
I think Fitz.
Yeah, I honestly I don't know. I don't.
I agree. So.
I mean, we talked about this. Like, if Keefe gets scapegoated, and Fitz sticks around, like that's just malpractice. Like that's like Gary Bettman in the league needs to step in and be like, "What the fuck are you doing with this team?" Like the NBA. Yeah, I know.
I gotta just read it for the audience. Keeping Fitz will be like wiping your ass and shitting at the same time. Nothing will get done.
It's
a fucking perfect analogy.
That's like what happens when you don't make it home from Taco Bell at 2 a.m.
Shitting and wiping your ass at the same time. Swiping.
I'm trying to envision that in my head. It's just fucking awful. Just like shit all over your hand. Like, hey, won't stop.
Probably what the cavemen used to. I don't know that, but maybe some leaves.
What the cavemen used to do?
Shit. Yeah. I don't think they were too much into wiping.
No, I don't think they were too much. They must have stunk. Like the early hunter gatherers. Oh. Imagine going down on an early hunter-gatherer
animal pelts and shit like that. That's like amazing.
70s Afro bush, and it just fucking stinks.
And you know what's fucked up is when you're a young kid, 70s? Like you think we're like in the 80s, we see those Playboy magazines, all you see is those bushes. You think they're cool. Yeah. Like, yeah. Then you get older, you're like,
looks like Abraham Lincoln in a leg lock.
Oh man.
So. Yeah, I'd say I would bring Bruce Cassidy in right now. Come on, get your shit together, boys.
Oh shit!
Stop saying shit like that.
Bring Bruce Cassidy in now.
Yeah.
Well, Bruce Cassidy, like people think so. The narrative that Torts is a tough coach, I think is, and I think it's changed a little bit, and I think people realize the distinction between someone like Tortorella and someone like Babcock, because Babcock was a fucking piece of shit that played like
mental games.
Yeah, whereas Tortorella will tell you honestly, he's like, "This is what you are. This is what I want from you. If you don't fucking do it, you're sitting on the bench." And that's kind of like he's straightforward and he's fair, and also like you've seen him go to bat for people over and over and over again. And like Tony, like you said, like every single former player that you hear talk about him just glows about him. I don't think I've ever heard
I can't think of someone
I can't think of anyone who's publicly said something bad about him like I have heard about like Terrian or Babcock or some other coaches. Right. And Cassidy is a whole other he's a fucking raging prick too. And I think after supposedly last summer, some of the Vegas players had issues with him too. And if you think about it, like Vegas has Jack Eichel and Noah Hannafin, who are leaders on that team, and they also were on the U.S. Olympic team, which Torts is a coach of. So they're probably like, hey, bring Torts in, fuck this guy.
I'll tell you, DeBoer. I mean, I liked him when we had him before, Pete DeBoer. I would totally welcome him back. I'd be excited to have him back. I mean, the last time I remember us really being decent, he was behind the bench, so.
Well, last time we were good, Lindy Ruff was behind the bench, and now Lindy Ruff is going to get his opportunity to win a Stanley Cup.
Laughing at everybody. Laughing at us all. He's like, you motherfucker. And now it makes, and we won't even talk about the Ruff too much, but yeah, I mean, he got a lot of shit. I remember the Devil fans were fucking, remember Fire Ruff up in the crowd, Fire Lindsay. Here's
the thing. We were young and dumb back then, right? And we thought that he was the problem. And it took 3 years to actually, or close to 3 years for us to all kind of realize that Lindy Ruff wasn't the problem and Travis Green wasn't the problem and Sheldon Keefe isn't the problem. The problem is Tom Ftzgerald and this. And I'll still go back to like this. I don't know what it was early in this year, but it looked
okay. Can we not like Lindy Ruff? I had issues with what Ruff was not doing and he was not making any adjustments. He continued
absolutely
to insist
look.
Yeah,
on
we
playing
talk about it all the time on here.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's coaches have an inflexibility, and I've actually seen a couple of guys talk about this, where coaches have an inflexibility about changing things. Particularly the older they get more kind of intransigent about their systems and playing their way and stuff like that, and they fail to adjust. And that's why you see like a young guy like Dan Muse and with like the success that Pittsburgh has, because he takes the talent, understands what the talent is, and builds the way they play around that.
And I'm not saying that Lindy Ruff was absolved of all blame. My what I'm trying to say is, though, it was so much deeper than just a coaching problem, and we didn't
Even with
realize
adjustments,
that.
we're still sucking.
Oh yeah, like I mean, Lindy, it was his time to go. I mean, if you remember that West Coast trip, and there was the guys weren't playing for him, and it could happen to anybody. You know, but it's a deeper seating problem, and I think it's also an issue with, you look at like how this team played early in the year with like a lack of leadership and not able to withstand any kind of any issues, like any problems on the ice, any adversity, that's the word I was looking for, on the ice. They couldn't deal with it. And like you see this, like now since the Olympics, like what's changed? Now they get down a goal or two, third period, they can come back.
Healthy.
Yeah, but even then, like even when this team was healthy, there was like a weird disconnect. Like guys weren't playing hard, and it just I don't know.
It's health, bad teams,
Lack of
like
moves.
looser, playing looser, like. And I do think there was a philosophical change of being like, hey, we just need to play faster, like move the puck faster. And they got back to that. And I think that was something that Keith took a long, hard look at over the Olympic break and was like, this is something we need to do. Yeah, like Jay Sosa, they're cheating more for offense. You'll see the wings take off. And by the way, Jay Sosa, I'm not some fucking trained monkey. I'm not just going to write you a fucking article.
Why not? Write it.
Because the fuck do you think?
For $10, he'll
$10.
do a lot more than that.
You want to see a titty?
No.
They'll swipe in front of you.
Exactly.
Yeah. All kinds of weird shit out there.
I agree with that. There's still definitely roster changes that need to get made. Like that's the other thing. Like we're talking about like ownership and management maybe getting blinded by this garbage time success. Like as fans, we can't get blinded by this garbage time success either. Well, because there are some serious issues on this roster still, especially on the blue line. But I will say this. I am absolutely ready and confident to say goodbye to Dougie Hamilton and hand those keys over to Luke Hughes, because I think Luke Hughes is going to have an absolute breakout 25 or 26, 27 season. I honestly believe that. And you're seeing it now. And if him and Nemec can take that next step, and you can maybe lose Dougie and either Siggs or
Nemec
Covey.
is gone, though.
I kind of think the other things it's going to happen the other way around.
If we can get something
traded and they're keeping Dougie,
I don't think they're going to keep Dougie. I think there'll be two defensemen gone this offseason. And then Dougie will be one. Who the other one is, I don't know. I mean, I'm up for the conversation.
Hang on, sorry, Jason. I was just posting your balls, dude. I know. I'm just kidding. We'll get to the Carolina stuff in a second.
And we have to remember, too, guys, is like even if the success we're having now, like everything in the playoffs is going to be amplified by a decent amount, right? And our rosters cannot hang. Like, right, you know, at the end of the day, like that fast pace, like playoff hockey, I still believe that, you know, we wouldn't fare well in it. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that has to be done.
I don't know. Like, I think the playoff hockey is totally different thing is a little bit overblown. I mean, it's still the same game.
No way.
It absolutely.
I don't think
it's the same
overblown.
game. It's like all you look at like half of Florida's goals, they were fucking rush goals. Like everybody thinks it's just cycling and forechecking.
But I'm talking about the hard hitting. I'm talking about way more than that.
Yeah, but there's still like I just I know. I disagree a little bit. I think it just gets a little tighter. What ratchets up is the intensity.
So you think the Devils? You think the Devils can? And this is just obviously we probably don't see eye to eye on this, but it's fine. But do you think when I watched the Florida win that cup, like they were fucking fierce, like it was just smashed.
Yeah,
like, they were
because
just, I don't think that our roster can hang with that.
No, I agree with. I completely agree with that.
I'm just saying, yeah.
But I think like what people think Florida won because they were kind of mean. Florida won because they were about $15 million over the salary cap and had 3 deep lines of talent and had Seth Jones playing as like their number 4 defenseman. Like they had a lot of
great players. I mean, yeah.
And
they have great players on that team because of the LTIR rule, because they were able to bring in Marchand.
Same reason Vegas won the other year, maybe, possibly.
Like I think
Vegas won with their big ass defense, and
being out.
If you look at like the last, I don't know, 6 or 7 cup winners, I think maybe the caps were under or at the cap, but like all of them were over $100 million salary cap teams because of the LTIR rules.
Another reason why Florida won the last cup was we always say that you need certain players in the playoffs, and I believe that. I know Tony believes that, and I think Tim does too. Like you need the Matthew Tkachuk's, the Sam Bennett's, the Marchand. They have all 3 of them. And not only do they have all 3 of them, one of them won the goddamn Conn Smythe. So when you can get that hard-nosed play like Sam Bennett gives you and still scores, 12 goals in the fucking playoffs or however many goals he had, huge goals, like that's Claude Lemieux in 95, right?
Yep, you have to have a guy like that. One guy stands on his head.
But Marchand also played out of his mind, and he was on their third line with Lundell and Luosterainen. So it's just like,
that move was brilliant.
It was brilliant.
So my larger point is and Jason, I think to an extent is right. Like you can't rely on just rely on the rush. Like, and we proved that against Carolina over and over and over again. Is we can't sustain any ozone pressure against them. So what happens against Carolina, and this happens every goddamn time we play them. That's a psychological hurdle that we need to get over. It just it's largely a mental thing, because once Carolina scores, you can see them just be like, oh fuck, here it comes.
Mm-hmm. And once they get the lead, forget it.
Right. And what Carolina does is they pressure you all over the ice, and they do it over and over and over again. And you may be able to get through that pressure for a period and a half, but over time, eventually that pressure makes you crack, you make a mistake, and you give up a goal. Like if you look at how did this goals get? 2 of the goals against Carolina were lost board battles in the D zone.
Yeah,
that like failed clears and lost board battles in the D zone. So it's like that's why we continue to lose to Carolina, because they're just not stiff enough, and they're just mental midgets when it comes to playing this team. And
we do score a ton off the rush, and we're not great at the cycle and the board battles and all that. And when you are in the playoffs, they're going to, whoever you're playing, when especially you get out of that first round, you get into those better teams, they're going to take your best, whatever you do best, whether that's a player or 2, a line, a system, they're going to try and, negate as much of it as possible. And that's what Carolina does. They crumble us up in the offense in the neutral zone. And like you said, we got nothing on the cycle. We can't defend against them. We can't forecheck against them. They're goaltenders who can go out and get lit up by 10 the night before, come in and they play fucking out of their heads against us. It is they physically beat us up by the third period, but mentally this team is like on a different level. Like they go in
they're just
with that losing mentality before that puck is even dropped. Like they need a huge win over Carolina next year. Like, and I think they were talking about it. Sal and Kenny were saying like, whatever it is, you got to figure out next year. Like, yeah, you want to do better in the Metro. We sucked against our own division, but you've got to figure out a way. Like if you're bringing a new head coach in, I think it was Mike DeCaro actually said this to me. If you bring the first question you ask a new head coach is, what are you going to do to beat Carolina? How are we beating Carolina? And I agree with that. Like that has to be, you're not going anywhere until we get past that fucking team. And I don't even think that team doesn't even impress me that much.
I don't even
I don't think they're winning. That's what
pisses me off the most, is they're not that fucking good.
Thank you.
They're not that good. They're deep. They have like like our top six is we had the same problem in the fucking playoffs. Like our top six is much better than their top six. Their bottom six is much better than our bottom six. Their decor, it just plays so well within their structure and their system. And that's the symbiosis between the coaching and the GM and the players that they find and the players that they plug and play, like just works so well for them. And it's frustrating. Like they found fucking Brandon Bussey off the goddamn scrap heap. And he just fucking shuts us down. Like, but Carolina's one weakness, ironically, is actually rush offense. So if you can get through that first layer of their forecheck, and this happened on Timo's goal. Like if you watch, so Nico spins around, throws a 2-line pass up to Mercer at the far blue line, and then he and Timo are in on a 2-on-1 break. And that's how you beat Carolina. The problem is you need to stay disciplined until you get to those moments, till you find those moments to exploit. And you can't try to force and manufacture that type of moment. You need to stay disciplined, stay in it. And if it's going to be 1-0, then it needs to stay 1-0. Like you can't try to continue to force that shit on Carolina.
Yeah, to be very patient against them. You're right.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about? I see they're saying what's up, Collect Records. Mercer and Nemec are both. Mercer too, another one that's very good chance of being gone.
Mercer stinks.
I don't think he's. I mean, I think
Mercer
I don't
stinks.
think. I think that we expected
Stinks
more than we got out of it. I think.
I like Dawson.
I'm kidding.
I mean, I like Dawson Mercer, and I think he brings his style of play. I think
sense,
is. What's that?
Good hockey sense, and he's durable as shit.
And I think his play style would probably be a little bit more beneficial in a playoffs type of atmosphere. I think he plays pretty tough, and I just think he's a guy that maybe that his time has kind of run out. He might need a change of scenery, and he has value. I mean, and after what happened in Ottawa this year, like, is there an actual maybe chance this summer that you can get your hands on Brady Tkachuk?
What is the playoff situation like? So yeah, Chris, I agree with you. Like I'm busting Tony's balls about Mercer stinking. Like I think
he's not moving the needle. Like he's just not. He's not moving the needle here.
He's kind of there, but he also like he got some power play one time and the production went up a little bit, and then he got taken off power play one, and the production went down a little bit, and Brown's production goes up because he's on power play one. It's like so power play dependent. Like I feel like always watching Mercer, I just want more out of him. And I think a lot of us got kind of a little bit fooled in that 22-23 season when I think he had 57 points or something like that.
Yeah.
Like I think like 10 of his goals came in 8 games. To when he went on that ridiculous year. It's actually the MSG Cadillac trivia game.
Yeah, I know. I got it right, by the way.
Yeah, I did too. I was like, that's Dawson Mercer. I remember that.
I was watching with my wife. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it was Mercer. I'm like, and it was like recently. He went on like a 9 or 10 game heater or something. Yeah, that was it.
Isn't it weird how like these guys do that? Like you'll see guys. I mean, I forget who the hell it was last year. They hadn't scored in like 2 years. Then all of a sudden they had like 3 goals in like 2 games. Like
that was the Calgary game.
Yeah, how does
the guy happen? He had like 2 goals all his whole 10-year career, and
then all of a sudden he's just finding the way.
Right, yeah, like Kovechkin, right? That motherfucker. That guy hasn't scored in North America since he's been on the Devils.
He's another one that might need to go.
But yeah, we can talk about all these guys that we want to go. Like I wouldn't mind trying to find a different, younger, better version of Timo for less money. But I like Timo's play style in theory, but Timo in reality is more like Timu. It's just like I don't know. There's just something missing with his game. Like his shot volume is always there, and I think that's what people point to. And is like, what about his shot volume? But like he's missing the net all the fucking time. He puts a random. I think he's just a really bad shooter, to be perfectly honest. Like I don't think this guy can fucking pick a corner for his life.
Well, I don't think our core is going anywhere. Like Jack, Bratt, Timo, Nico, I don't think they're going anywhere. I think those 4 guys are going to stick around. And
I'd hate to see Nico go. That'd be like
that's not going to happen. And that's another reason why they might keep Fitz on, just to make sure that they get that fucking deal done You know, you bring a new GM in. You don't want your fucking captain to maybe get a little wishy-washy on who's running shit. Now you want me to sign long-term, and there seems to be some, craziness going on upstairs. That might be another. You know what? Let's just kind of keep status quo, lock this guy up, and give Fitz another chance.
Yeah, and Fitz did bring it up in that press conference he had, like a week or two ago, at the deadline press conference, where he was like, "I'm in lockstep about Nico's next deal." Like I think I heard Ace talking about this on his show. Like Ace is pretty convinced that Nico's not going to resign. I disagree with that. I don't see why he would go. Yeah, and I don't see why. I mean, I could see I think people overestimate how frustrated guys get and annoyed. Like this is Nico's home. He's also European, so being on the East Coast is beneficial for him. Like I don't see why he would go anywhere. I could be totally wrong about that.
I think it's like 70-30. I think he's gonna. I mean, I think he's gonna come back, but there is always that surprise that we've gotten as Devil fans several times through the history.
Well, he's not a UFA, right?
No, he has another year after this.
Yeah,
right.
And then, so he becomes extension eligible, basically.
So you get worried if they don't get an extension done, and then next season rolls in and he's still not signed, and then you can start getting worried, because then you have to start thinking about, if you don't get this guy signed, are you gonna maybe trade him for some assets and move off of him? I don't think it's gonna happen. I think Nico Hischier is the captain of this team. Him and Jack are the faces of this entire franchise. And you know that the ownership is going to slap a $70 million check in front of him in a couple of months, and he's going to sign. I think it's going to be 7 by 10. That's what I think.
To me, the three that are probably untouchable, I would think, would be Nico, Luke, and Jack. Besides that, I think anything else is touchable. So.
How about this? Nico, Timo, probably Hamaniho, maybe our first, and maybe a couple other picks and some other minor league stuff for Matthews, Nyes, and Nylander.
No,
you wouldn't do that.
No.
Kidding.
I like all three of those guys, but if it didn't work up in Toronto, why the fuck is it going to work here in Jersey? Like, no.
Well, that's what we're saying about our coach.
Because we already have like a Jack Hughes and a Jesper Bratt and a Luke Hughes and a Simon Nemec. Like Toronto's D-core sucks and their supporting cast sucks. I think those three would really thrive here. Oh, and then I'm sending what was my other? I had another crazy trade too.
Well, that's pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Then it was Bratt plus maybe like a second rounder for Brady Tkachuk.
I mean, if you think you can get Brady this year, I think you got to maybe move heaven and earth. If there's a possibility that you can get Austin Matthews out of Toronto, then yeah, Nye another guy. I love all three of those guys, Nylander too, but like, we're not just going to become the New Jersey Maple Leafs. Like you gotta, and at the same time, the thing I'm happy about with how this team's been playing, because I was like, during the Olympics, I'm like, nobody's going to want to even fucking sign with this team in the off season. Like, it's just such a shit show. And now when you see how they're playing, like, yeah, there are a lot of dudes out there that are going to be like, I want to play with number 86. I want to be on his line. I want to be on his team.
Look at something. My only concern about Matthew Nyes, he doesn't. You know what? Actually, the nice thing about Nyes, he makes 7.75, right? And he has 1, 2. He has 5 more years of 7.75, and he's only 23. Like, this is why this guy makes a ton of sense, and he has no trade protection. So if we do trade for him and he doesn't totally work out, we can
recoup it.
Yeah. I would think that we would need to. I do like Nylander. I think Nylander's an absolute fucking dog.
I agree.
And he fucking shows up in the playoffs too. But I don't know. I'm just throwing shit at the wall. Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, collect records. I'm with you. Like, I don't even know if I would be looking for another goaltender. I would be fine with Nico Daws. Like, I think it's time now to really start seeing what our pipeline can do. And that's why when I say get rid of a Kovacevic, I think maybe a guy like Ethan Edwards can step in and be exactly what we have and more with him. And, we played solid. We've been
Is Edwards a lefty?
We
or
haven't been a
righty?
great defensive team, but we haven't been the worst defensive team either.
We're
And
so since the Olympic break, I actually do have numbers on that if you would like to hear them.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
Dawes
yeah,
is on too.
So since the Olympic break, the Devils are second in the league in expected goals for percentage. So they are second in generating offense and expected goals, and they're ninth in expected goals against. So opening it up just a tiny bit that they have done, but they're cheating a little bit. They're generating more rush offense. They're generating more offense in general. Pucks are just kind of going in for them. Hasn't really sacrificed a lot on the defensive front. And if they can keep this model going like it is, I think, yeah, to your point, one thing I wanted to look at is Ethan Edwards a lefty or a righty? I think he's a lefty.
I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, it says Jay Snow wrote lefty, so I'm guessing that he.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think Nico Dawes isn't a lefty, is he?
No, he's answering my question about Edwards. I think he's right about Edwards. So that would be Siegenthaler or Dylan.
Okay.
I think. Which,
Dylan,
yeah,
I want to keep. And it's not because he's the best player on the ice. We talked about it. He's a leader in that dressing room, and he's a tough fucking dude. And I think you need
too.
Yeah, you need that guy. You know, he reminds me of Danico in his kind of later years. You know, he plays that way.
universally well liked. Yeah,
and that's a guy like I'm fine with sacrificing a little bit of that production for the intangibles that he brings off of the ice, and he's not terrible. Well, you know, Kovacevic, I'm fine with going. Siegs, I'm fine with going. Like, let's give a guy like Edwards a chance. Let's give Nico Dawes the reins, and him and Allen can run it next year and get rid of Markstrom. I think Markstrom has a trade market. You know, I really do, and I think you can find a team to take that 2-year contract.
I don't know. Maybe I do kind of agree with that there always seems to be a market for guys like remember we thought we would get like a bag of pucks for Palat, and we actually got a marginally serviceable forward.
I like Sipofov.
Do you? I don't know. He's a little bit.
I like our
overpaid,
fourth line. Let me change that. I don't like Paul Cotter, but I like the other 2/3 of it. Paul Cotter is Paul Cotter has no fucking idea what to do with a puck if he's not staring down a goaltender straight on. He has no idea what to do. He is a terrible passer. He just holds on to the puck way too long and usually just fucking spits it up. I'm not a big Paul Cotter fan. So again, replaceable, yes, and we probably have somebody in our system that can replace him.
Cotter, I don't know. Cotter did have the celebration of the week when he had his fucking nose plugged and he scored that overtime goal. That was
all right.
Great.
Jay Snow has a question here, right? Who the fuck is taking Markey? Let me give you a quick, right? First round of the playoffs. Let's say Vegas loses in 7. Because Aiden Hill and Akira Schmidt are Aiden Hill and Akira Schmidt. And you have everything else there. You're telling me a team like Vegas won't take a flyer on Markstrom to bring him in to try and win another cup? That's just one. I think there are several teams that would look at Markstrom and say, he's good enough. He's better than what we have. Let's get him. And we can maybe win a Stanley Cup with it. I think there are several teams that would.
Okay. I'm going to say something that's probably. I think Vegas is going to win the cup with Schmidt this year.
No, they're
I just remember I said it. I have a feel. I have a feeling this change right here is going to be some magic.
You know why it's not going to work? Because we're the only fucking team that can fire your coach with 8 games left and then go on a run and win a Stanley Cup. Yeah, Vegas is not copying our style and then going to go.
Would you be shocked though? Torts goes over there and they.
I wouldn't be shocked.
No. I'd be happy for Schmidt too. You know, I mean, it was one time we were rooting for that guy.
Vegas would be out of the playoffs by far if they were in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah,
like they're barely clinging to life in like the worst division in the league.
So are the Devils? We aren't mathematically eliminated yet, are we?
No, 0.3%.
So like
everybody's plans got to go down.
Like if we lose tonight, maybe we're eliminated.
Hang on.
some other
So-
teams win?
So CBJ is sitting in the second wild card spot. Actually, the Islanders are third in the Metro. So whatever.
All right,
So
how many
they're at a
points?
593 winning percentage. Hang on one second. Wait. 164.
So what do we
So-
have to do to make the playoffs?
So both the Islanders and CBJ are sitting at about a 97, a little over a 97 point pace.
Okay.
The best we can do, I think, is 96.
I thought it
points.
was 98. Okay.
Well, because we lost to Carolina, then it became 98 or 96. So we have 9 games left and 78 points. So yeah, 96 is the best we can do. So we shouldn't even be having this conversation. It's kind of funny, but if like the Islanders and CBJ suddenly just fucking the bottom falls out on them, and we win out, yes, there's a path. But that's why it's 0.3 because
Right.
of that.
All right.
But look, Columbus made a coaching change, and look what fucking happened to them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I thought there were 2 big spots this year that Ftzgeralds should have been fired. The first one was right when Jack got cut in Chicago and he did nothing. Like, you knew, okay, shit, like we're in a pretty decent spot, but things were starting to get a little bit wonky, right? You could see like the little bit of the warts starting to show, and then your best player goes down with a big injury, an off-ice bullshit injury, and you didn't do anything to replace that. And I'm not saying you're going to go out and get another Jack Hughes. I understand they don't grow on trees. They grow inside Mrs. Hughes's womb. I get it. But the point is, like, you didn't even get anybody to come in, like, to come in just to supplement some of what you were losing with Jack. And the second thing was when the Islanders shut us out 9-0. Those are the two reasons he should have been gone.
Yeah.
But
Jack
yeah,
has a question that I don't know the answer to. Maybe Tim would know.
What is it?
If Fitz hires a GM and stays on as Prez, does he have any say over what the new GM does?
Yes,
Yeah, I mean,
sir.
I would absolutely think that
Normally,
some say I he's above the GM, but
normally they have final roster control. The hockey ops.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on how they make the arrangement. If he sees full control, if he's like that kind of that nuance sort of is team to team and role to role. But I mean, he would have some say. I don't think it's purely shaking hands and kissing babies.
All right, quick question, and then we're gonna wrap it up. You have one of 2 choices. Okay, the Devils can make the playoffs this year, or top 5 draft pick.
Oh, Devils make the playoff this year.
Make the playoffs every time.
Make the playoffs.
I think they need to package this first round pick to get some help.
You think what?
I think regardless where this pick is, they should package it to get some help.
Yeah.
Even if it was top 5, that just lessens the load on what we would need to give up with it.
And any predictions for tonight's Ranger game, Tony?
6-3 Devils. Oh, sorry.
5-3 Devils, I think.
I think we are going to sweep them. I'm going to go Devils are going to keep it going.
Yep.
They're going to continue their mastery of whooping up on the New York Rangers tonight. Jack's going to get a couple. I'm going to go Jack 2 goals, Devils win by 2 goals. I don't know what the score is. I'll say 4-2.
I am going to do what I said I was going to do. 6-3. Jack has another hat trick.
There you go. Hey, I'm hoping
Jay,
for you, man. Great.
Jay absolutely would get completely dog walked in the first round. That's why I was asking the question.
Jason makes a great point there. Is that Fitz will draft another D-man anyway?
Yeah.
So I did have one thing in the back of my head. It was like, what happens if we do trade Dougie and trade Nemec? Like what's filling in on the right side there? That's the one question I have. Is like, are you going back to the free agent well for another aging guy that's not going to go great? Like,
Probably.
my biggest concern is he signs like Darren Radish from fucking Tampa, who's having a great season, but he's a journeyman. He's over 30. signs him to like a 6-year deal, and then we're fucking
Right.
stuck with another albatross contract.
No movement. all
Yeah,
that.
no movement clause. Like the Devils buy his house for him. His wife and Allie Nason become best friends.
It is nice having spring back, though. I'm very happy.
Oh yeah,
with
even
the
here it's
weather.
been beautiful.
Yeah, it's just so
It was
nice.
so nice today.
It's been
It was so
beautiful.
nice.
And the
Shorts
sports,
and
for us, sports is not going to end, but we're gonna have a little break coming up. I mean, we'll only have playoff hockey that doesn't concern our team, and
again, and then
and
we
football
wait
will be
for
not for what the draft is coming up. But I mean,
The Uncle
Yeah, we do at
Puckers
the NFL
Buffalo
draft.
Sabres podcast.
I'm
Nah,
pretty
I
excited,
don't
Chris,
think
I
the
must say, by
Sabres.
the way.
What's that?
I have to admit, I might be misled as always every off season, but damn, I'm excited for what the Raiders are going to do. And it might be a complete disappointment like every fucking year, but I know that like Mendoza's already knows he's a Raider. They said he's already like kind of going over the playbooks with some of the guys already, even before he's even drafted. So it's kind of an exciting time. And Max Crosby, I got again, who's not leaving, says that's
Nope.
it. I mean, I
I
couldn't
am
be happier, dude.
I am very excited for this football season for all three of our teams. But I am so excited for it. I think it's going to be one of the better ones. I think it's going to be a ton of fun.
Do you know what's
And,
funny? I'm looking at draft. Sorry, I'm looking at DraftKings, and the correct final score of 6-3 has worse odds of than the correct final score of 6-2 or 6-1. Or
How much you pay for that bet?
It's plus 3,000. I'm gonna bet $5 on a 6-3 final score and a Jack Hughes hat trick.
There you go. That's right, Snell.
That's a big payout.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm going to say Jack gets 2, Luke gets 1. It's going to be a Hughes brother night.
Saying Nico
against
2.
the Rangers.
Nico 2 and Jack 3
Nico.
points some way or another.
All right. So we all got Devils sweeping the Rangers tonight and keeping our 0.000003 chance of making the playoffs alive for another day. So hopefully we already got our 5 losses. So it's like win out. And that would be the 40 points. And they still probably wouldn't make it because we can't beat a fucking team in our division. So, all right, we're going to bounce out of here, guys. We will be back this week. Definitely, probably maybe Thursday, Friday, around there. See what Bob's doing. See what Tony's schedule looks like. Tim and I are free on the evenings, so we'll definitely get on and we'll chat some more hockey. So, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us again. And any questions or anything that you want to hit us up, you can always reach us at unclepuckers@gmail.com.
Yeah, you can DM us on Twitter.
You can DM us on Twitter. And if you like us, subscribe, share, follow, download, all that other stuff. It does really help the algorithm and the little podcast that could.
Yeah, what else do we have? We have TikTok and Instagram. Follow us everywhere. Blue Sky.
Tampa
all
Morgue.
that fun stuff. What'd you say?
It's a Tampa Morgue.
Yep,
Come to
Tampa
the morgue.
Morgue, YouPorn, all of it. So, guys, thanks again. It was fun, and man, I'll tell you, when the Devils are good, we got a whole lot more people checking in for these shows. But everybody's fucking checking out. Damn you,
Yep.
Tom Ftzgerald.
Fucking Fitz.
Look
You're
what
a
you've
terrorist.
done.
All right, it's so depressing.
All
right, we're out of here. We're the Puckers.
All right, later, boys.
We'll see you when we see you.
Fuck you.
Peace.
Bellcat.
It's over, Johnny. It's over!
So Bobby had the handcuffs on when he got out of the backseat of the car, the horse, and